Tonight, let us drift together into the quiet heart of the night, into a place you enter almost every evening without ever fully noticing it. You know it by feeling, not by sight. It is that deep, heavy rest, where your body feels as though it has sunk into the mattress, and your mind drifts far away from the edges of waking thought. This place is called deep sleep, also known as slow wave sleep. It is one of the most hidden yet most important journeys of the human body. Imagine that falling asleep is like walking down a staircase. At the top, you are awake, alert, and thinking quickly. You close your eyes, and you begin to take the first step down. The light grows dim, your breathing begins to steady, your body relaxes, and you slip into light sleep. But if you keep going further and further down, you eventually reach the very bottom steps. Down here, in the lowest and quietest part of the night, is where deep sleep begins. Scientists call it slow wave sleep because the brain no longer buzzes with quick sparks of activity the way it does when you are awake, or even when you dream. Instead, the brain's activity moves in long, slow waves, rising and falling like the swell of a calm ocean. Each wave carries with it silence, rest, and renewal. It is as if your mind is breathing, inhaling and exhaling in harmony with your body. As you sink into this stage, your heartbeat slows, your blood pressure eases down, your muscles relax fully as though they have finally let go of the weight of the day. Your breathing becomes deep and even, steady as a tide moving in and out. From the outside, nothing much seems to be happening. You appear still, perhaps even motionless. But inside, an extraordinary process has begun. One of the most remarkable things happening during deep sleep is that your brain begins to wash itself. A special system, known as the glymphatic system, becomes active. This system clears away waste and toxins that have built up in your brain during the busy hours of wakefulness. Imagine a gentle river flowing through a quiet town, carrying away the debris left behind from a bustling day. The brain in this moment is quietly cleaning and refreshing itself, preparing for another day of thought and experience. At the same time, deep sleep protects and strengthens your memories. Picture a wise librarian moving through long rows of shelves in a grand, silent library. During the day, many new books and papers are scattered about. Your experiences, your conversations, your thoughts, your lessons. Now, in the stillness of deep sleep, the librarian carefully sorts through them, filing the important ones on the shelves and discarding those that are not needed. This process ensures that the next morning, when you wake, the things that matter most are easier to remember, while the unimportant clutter is gently brushed away. Your body, too, takes this opportunity to heal. During deep sleep, growth hormone is released, helping tissues to repair and muscles to rebuild. If you have exercised during the day, or even if you are simply recovering from the small stresses of daily life, this is the time when your body strengthens itself. Your immune system also becomes more active, building its defenses, preparing to protect you from illness. Without this nightly renewal, the body begins to weaken, as though the foundation of a house were slowly crumbling. This stage of sleep is not dramatic. There are no vivid dreams or wild images here. Instead, there is stillness, rhythm, and restoration. It is the anchor of the night. Just as an ocean must rest in its deep, quiet waters beneath the surface waves, so too must the human mind and body rest in this silent depth. And as you imagine yourself slipping into it now, think of the sensation of being gently carried downward. There is no effort required. You do not need to force yourself to sink, because the body knows the way. It is natural, automatic, and deeply human. Just as a stone released into a pond naturally finds its way to the bottom, so too do you find your way into deep sleep each night, carried softly by the rhythm of your own biology. The world above you continues. Clocks tick, winds blow, perhaps even a car passes in the distance. But in this deep inner space, the noise fades, the light dims, and you are embraced by the calm, slow waves of the brain. This is the hidden world of slow wave rest. And even now, as you listen, you can feel yourself beginning to touch the edges of it. As you drift deeper into the stillness of slow-wave sleep, something remarkable begins to happen within the quiet chambers of your mind. The brain, which has been busy all day collecting impressions, sights, sounds, and thoughts, begins to sift through them. It does not rush. It does not force. Instead, it moves slowly, patiently, like an old archivist in a candlelit room, carefully deciding what to keep and what to let go. Throughout the day, your brain gathers countless fragments: a passing face, a line from a conversation, the sound of bird song in the morning, the colors of the sky at sunset. All these pieces are written down in the temporary notebook of your waking mind. But not all of them are meant to stay. Some are fleeting, like chalk on a sidewalk, and they fade quickly. Others, however, are precious. These are the lessons you have learned, the knowledge you wish to keep, the emotions that have shaped you. Deep sleep is the time when these fragments are sorted and secured. During slow-wave sleep, your brain strengthens connections between neurons, those tiny cells that carry thoughts and signals. Imagine a forest at night, quiet and dark, but with glowing paths of light being carefully reinforced, made stronger so they will last. These glowing paths are your memories, and as they are strengthened, they become easier to find when you need them again. Without deep sleep, these pathways weaken. The details blur. You may feel foggy, forgetful, or uncertain the next day, as though the librarian misplaced the key to the archive. But in deep sleep, the opposite happens. The key is polished. The shelves are organized. The important books are placed exactly where they need to be. This is why deep sleep is sometimes called the guardian of memory. It does not merely store your experiences. It protects them, locks them safely away, and makes them ready for you to use again. Scientists have studied this by asking people to learn something new before sleep, perhaps a list of words, or a simple skill like tapping a rhythm with their fingers. Then after a night's rest, those who experienced plenty of deep sleep remembered more and performed better than those whose deep sleep was disrupted. It is as if the night itself had whispered the lesson back to them, quietly reinforcing it while they rested. Deep sleep does more than protect memory. It also clears away what you no longer need. If every single moment of your day were stored in perfect detail, your mind would quickly become crowded, heavy, and confusing. Imagine if every slip of paper, every scribbled note, every scrap of conversation were piled into the same drawer with no order. It would be impossible to find what matters. So during slow-wave sleep, your brain gently lets go of what is unnecessary, releasing the clutter so the shelves remain clear. This process is not harsh. It is not like erasing with force, but more like waves washing sand on the shore, smoothing away the little patterns that do not need to remain. What stays is the shape of the important rocks, the outline of what truly matters, and in this clearing, you gain something more than memory. You gain clarity. When you wake after a night of good deep sleep, the world feels sharper, brighter, and easier to navigate. Your thoughts flow more smoothly. Your emotions are steadier. You are better able to face the day because your mind has been quietly prepared during the silent hours of the night. Think of it like a garden. During the day, seeds fall everywhere. Some are weeds, some are flowers, some are simply scattered leaves. If left untended, the garden would grow wild and tangled. But during deep sleep, the gardener steps in. Weeds are pulled. The soil is cleared. The flowers that matter most are watered and given space. By morning, the garden is orderly, peaceful, and ready to grow again. So when you rest in the deep embrace of slow-wave sleep, you are not just lying still. You are allowing your mind to garden itself, to clear the clutter, to strengthen the roots, and to prepare for the growth of tomorrow. This is not something you must control. It happens naturally, silently, without your effort. And as you imagine this now, perhaps you can feel your own thoughts softening. The details of today begin to blur. The important pieces will be kept safe. The small, fleeting scraps will fade away. Just as the brain does each night, you too can let go, trusting that what matters will remain, and what does not will drift away like leaves on the wind. This is the gift of deep sleep, the gentle guardian of memory, the the quiet keeper of your story, working while you rest, preparing you for the light of the next day. As the mind quietly strengthens and clears itself during deep sleep, another kind of work begins. Work that reaches into every corner of the body. If memory is the garden tended by the night, then the body itself is the house being repaired. And just as no builder hammers or saws in your dreams, this restoration happens gently, invisibly, in ways you rarely notice but always depend upon. When you enter slow-wave sleep, your body releases pulses of growth hormone. This simple chemical flowing quietly through your bloodstream is like a master builder. It mends tiny tears in your muscles, repairs tissues that were strained during the day, and even strengthens your bones. If you lifted something heavy, walked a little farther than usual, or simply carried the quiet stress of daily life in your muscles, deep sleep is the time when the body leans in and begins its patient repairs. It is no accident that children and teenagers who are still growing spend more time in deep sleep than adults. Their bodies require more of this hormone, more of this nightly repair, to build height, strength, and resilience. For adults, it becomes less about growing taller and more about staying strong, maintaining what has already been built, and quietly fixing what may have worn down. Your immune system, too, is strengthened in these hours. Imagine tiny soldiers, watchful and tireless, moving through your bloodstream. During the day, they are often busy defending against germs, stress, and little disruptions that come from the world around you. But in deep sleep, they reorganize, sharpen their memory of what they have fought before, and prepare themselves for what they may face tomorrow. Studies show that people who sleep well are better able to resist infections, while those who miss out on deep sleep may catch colds or feel run down more easily. It is not simply rest, it is defense. Deep sleep is also when your heart and blood vessels take their own time of restoration. All day your heart beats tirelessly, sending blood to every organ, every fingertip, every strand of hair. But at night, in the slower rhythm of deep sleep, your heart rate drops, your blood pressure lowers, and your cardiovascular system is given a chance to rest. Imagine a great river that has been rushing and tumbling all day long. Now in the cool of the night, it flows more gently, its water smoothing into calm. This nightly calm helps protect your heart and your vessels, keeping them steady for the days and years to come. Even your metabolism listens to the rhythms of deep sleep. While you rest, your body balances hormones that control hunger and fullness. If sleep is short or restless, these signals may grow confused, leading to cravings or imbalance the next day. But when sleep is deep and complete, the signals are set right, gently tuned like the strings of an instrument so that your body knows when it truly needs nourishment and when it is satisfied. Every cell in your body benefits from this time. Within each tiny cell are little engines, called mitochondria, that produce energy. During the day, they run constantly, powering every movement, every thought, every word. But at night, in deep sleep, they are given a chance to repair themselves, to prepare for another day of effort. Without this nightly tune-up, the engines begin to falter, leaving you feeling drained or weary before the day has even begun. You might think of it like a village where every worker stops at night not to collapse, but to mend their tools, sharpen their blades, polish their lamps, and ready their hands for tomorrow. In the morning, they rise stronger, their tools shining, their paths clear. Your body does the same, though you are unaware of the quiet industry happening beneath your skin. Even the very skin you wear is touched by the gift of deep sleep. Cells on the surface repair from the tiny damages of sunlight, air, and time. This is why people who rest deeply often appear refreshed, their faces softer, calmer, as though the night itself has smoothed away the day's strain. It is no wonder that sleep has long been called a kind of natural beauty treatment, though its true magic lies far deeper than appearance. All this work is invisible, silent, and effortless on your part. You need not guide it. You need not even be aware of it. The body knows the rhythm. It knows the steps of the dance. All that is asked of you is to surrender, to allow the waves of sleep to hold you, and to trust that while you rest, the repairs are being made. And so, as you imagine your body now, perhaps you can picture it as a quiet workshop in the night. The lights are soft, the tools are gentle, and each organ, each muscle, each cell is being tended with care. The heart slows its rhythm, the breath moves smoothly, The mind drifts calmly, and the whole house of your body is being restored from foundation to rooftop. By the time morning comes, much of this silent work will be complete. You will rise not only with a clearer mind, but with a body refreshed, repaired, and ready to step again into the light of the day. Deep sleep, then, is not only for dreaming or remembering, it is the healer, the patient craftsman, the gentle caretaker of every part of you. As your body works in silence through the night, mending muscles, soothing the heart, strengthening the immune system, there comes a realization. This process is not something you can buy, borrow, or truly replace. Deep sleep is as essential as breathing, and yet, it remains one of the greatest mysteries of life. Even with all our science, all our instruments, all our maps of the human brain, we still do not fully understand why this nightly voyage is so deeply necessary. Think for a moment about food. If you miss a meal, you can eat later and feel satisfied again. If you grow thirsty, water can quickly quench that thirst. But with deep sleep, there is no perfect replacement. You can nap, you can rest, you can lie down with your eyes closed, but nothing fully restores the balance lost if deep sleep is missed. Your body and mind will remind you of its absence. Concentration falters, emotions fray, muscles ache, the heart feels more strained, the immune system weakens. And though a later night of rest may ease some of the strain, it cannot fully return what has been lost. This is why scientists often speak of deep sleep as being non-negotiable. It is not optional. It is not a luxury. It is a biological rhythm older than history itself, woven into the very fabric of life. Every creature that has been studied, from the simplest forms of life to humans, shows some version of sleep. It is as if nature itself has written this law across all living things. There must be a time of rest, a time of restoration, a time when the world is set aside so that life can repair itself. And yet the precise reasons remain elusive. Why must memory be sorted at night, and not in the quiet hours of wakefulness? Why must muscles repair in darkness, guided by hormones released only in sleep? Why must the brain wash itself with waves of fluid only during slow-wave rest, and not while you are sitting quietly in thought? These questions remain, glowing softly at the edges of science like stars just out of reach. We know the effects, we know the patterns, but the deepest why still lies hidden. Perhaps this mystery is part of the gift. Sleep reminds us that for all our control and effort, some things cannot be forced. You cannot will yourself into deep sleep with sheer determination. You cannot command the body to release growth hormone or order the brain to clear its toxins. These things happen when you let go. They happen when you surrender. They happen in the stillness of night, when you trust the rhythm to carry you where you need to go. And so, deep sleep carries with it a kind of humility. It reminds us that we are not machines, endlessly running, endlessly producing. We are human beings, with cycles, with needs, with quiet hours that are as sacred as the busy hours of day. In the silence of deep sleep, the body teaches us balance, though we are often too unaware to notice. This is why traditions and cultures throughout history have spoken of sleep with reverence, even mystery. Some called it a little death, a nightly surrender of control. Others saw it as a bridge between worlds, where dreams and visions touched upon the spiritual. And while science studies the waves and patterns, many still sense that sleep is more than mechanics. It is an experience that touches something beyond. There is also the curious truth that the deepest sleep often comes not when you chase it, but when you release the chase. You may have noticed this yourself. Nights when you worry about whether you will sleep, when you stare at the clock and count the hours, are often the nights when rest is most elusive. But nights when you allow yourself to drift, when you release the day with gentleness, when you trust that rest will come, it is then that deep sleep often embraces you most fully. It comes as a gift, not as a prize for effort, but as a quiet reward for surrender. And perhaps that is the heart of the mystery. Deep sleep is at once biological and spiritual. It is measurable in brain waves and hormones, yet it is also something we experience, a feeling of release, a letting go into something larger than ourselves. Science can map the steps of the dance, but it cannot quite capture the music. That part remains within you. known only to the mind that drifts and the body that heals in the night. When morning arrives, the mystery is no less real. You wake refreshed or not. You rise with strength or perhaps with weariness if the night was thin. But always, the need for deep sleep returns again the next night, and the next as steady as the rising and setting of the sun. It is a reminder that we live not in a straight line, but in cycles. Day into night, wake into sleep, activity into rest, thought into silence. The cycles keep us whole. And so tonight, as you prepare to sleep, perhaps you can carry this thought with you. Deep sleep is not only a stage of rest, it is a secret partnership between you and the rhythms of life itself. It is the body healing, the mind restoring, the spirit surrendering. It is science and mystery, repair and release, a process older than history and still unfolding each night in the quiet of your own room. And if you should drift into that deep place while these words are still with you, then let it be so. That, after all, is the true purpose of this journey, to carry you gently into the very mystery we have been describing, into the hidden world of slow wave rest, where the body repairs, the mind clears, and the spirit quietly surrenders to peace.